Hey guys, today we're going to cover a new weekly bias on the Aussie USD, a pair we actually never covered before, and I'll update you guys on the Nzdusd USD's weekly bias that we've been covering for the last month or so. Alright, so let's start with the Aussie USD. Okay, this is a weekly chart. I'm ready by the current setup I'm looking at. So the last weekly long trade that formed was right here, and the last weekly short trade formed right here this week. So the weekly bias parameters is between this pivot high and this pivot low. So let's go ahead and do our initial analysis to figure out how much long strength there is and short strength there is. Let's go over to the monthly chart. Okay, so on this monthly chart, that weekly long trade formed right here, and that weekly short trade formed in this area right here. Now in terms of long strength, we have this nice medium gap right here, and moreover this monthly trend line right here that has 5 touches on it. Okay, and in terms of this short trade, we have a mini gap right here and a small gap right here, both providing short strength, as well as this trend line right here that has 4 touches on it. Okay, so in my opinion, since this gap right here is bigger than both of these combined, and moreover this trend line down here has 5 touches on it, just going by these monthly elements, there's more long strength for that long trade than short strength for this short trade. Alright, so let's finish up this analysis back on the weekly chart. Okay, so back on this weekly chart, in terms of candlesticks, this long trade right here actually has a nice full candle right here, providing a good amount of long strength. And moreover, this short trade right here also has a full candle. So I would say in terms of candlesticks, the strength differential is even. Okay, so all in all, the initial analysis is stating that this bias is long, or in other words, price is likely to reach this pivot high before reaching this pivot low. But in order to take a trade, I need lower confirmations. So to see what's happening over there, let's go over to the 4-hour chart. Alright, so on this 4-hour chart, if price could come up to this trend line, break it out, immediately break back in, have it come up to that pivot high to create strong long strength. That will confirm that weekly bias to be long. And moreover, I'm willing to take an aggressive entry on this setup. So for instance, if this strong long strength is confirmed, I'll be watching the even lower time frames for further strong long strength. So let's say that forms in this area right here. So if there's strong long strength formed in this area, I'll be willing to take a long entry with this main target at the weekly bias's pivot high, which is right here, and the stop loss at the pivot low of where that lower confirmation formed for the aggressive entry. So hypothetically, that'll be at this pivot low right here. Okay, but I'll keep you guys updated with this one. Let's go on to the Nzdusd USD pair. Alright, and if you're having trouble understanding what I'm talking about in terms of biases and lower confirmations, please check out my forecast manual. Okay, and the link for that is in the description section of this video. Alright, this is a weekly chart. Let me ready by the current setup I'm looking at. So the last weekly long trade that form was right here, and the last weekly short trade that form was right here. So this weekly bias's risk parameters is between this pivot high and this pivot low. And as you guys know, I've been waiting for lower confirmations for this pair, but for the last month, there actually hasn't been any lower confirmation on the 1 hour and above time frames. So let me show you what's been happening for the last month or so. Let's go over to the 1 hour chart. Okay, so on this 1 hour chart, that weekly bias formed roughly in these areas right here. And throughout this entire month, all in these areas right here, there was no lower confirmations on the 1 hour time frame and above. And keep in mind, this tends to happen in rangy markets. Okay, but for the time being, I'm looking at this trend line right here. Now, if price will come up to this trend line, break it out, immediately break back in, or come up to that pivot high to make strong long strength, I'm still willing to take a long entry. Now, moreover, again, I'll take an aggressive entry for this setup. So I'll be watching the even lower confirmations for any further strong long strength to form, which will give me a much better risk and reward ratio for a trade. Okay, and I'll keep you guys updated with this one too. Okay, so today let me talk about making sense of fundamentals through price. Now, as you guys know, price has been ranging about for the last month or so. Now, this can be caused by the illiquidity during the summer months, but you really can't know for sure the logical reasoning behind raging markets, because there's been summers in the past with abundant liquidity. However, the one thing we know for sure is that price is ranging. So although the reason for illiquidity is unsure, we know for a fact that illiquidity is present because price isn't moving. Now, in this way, making sense of fundamentals through price gives a trader a much more clear-cut mentality toward trading, which in the long term will make your trading and analysis much more efficient. Because you want to remember, in real trading, we don't need to know why price moves in a given direction, as long as we know that direction beforehand. Okay, so that's it for this weekly analysis. Hope you guys have a great week, guys. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.